What is up, my boys? JP has dropped the farming update part 6, and if you're not on the JP version of the game, you might be sitting there racking your brain being like, ZTL, what are you talking about? What is the farming update, and where are 1 through 5? Well, if you've been living under a rock, JP has been putting out these things called advanced quests that basically drop these CEs that make it far easier to get materials. And this one is dropping another page one, it is dropping a gear one, and another octuplet crystal one. And these are all really insane because, as you guys can see, they are buffing the max drop rate for a lot of these items, right? And we can see that when we max limit break them, it goes up to 25%. And I'm obviously just sitting here being like, just throw them in the shop, let me buy as many of these as I want. Because if you can get 4 of these max limit broken as they're slowly rolling them out, you can get like a 100% drop rate. And as someone who is like struggling to farm certain materials every now and then, like on JP, I was completely out of dragon fangs for some unknown reason, right? I was just like fiending for like all of these different CEs, right? Because it just makes farming way easier. Now, the one annoying thing, at least for some players, is that you cannot bring a friend to carry you on these quests. You do have to do them on your own, and some of them are particularly annoying. Like there is currently like one of the crab ones or whatever, where like they have a chance to like insta kill you if you attack them beforehand or something along those lines, because they like give you 800 bajillion just curse damage or something, and that could be really annoying if you're not prepared for it or you just don't have the proper servants to deal with it. But these ones are all fairly easy, that even if you're like a newer player on JP, you should be able to mop these up. I mean, getting your hands on like a cheap rider is not all that hard nowadays. In fact, I even think that if you just use like the free waiver that you get from doing Fuyuki, you could probably beat this with like a Medusa, right? And we all know that like Medusa, unfortunately, is not a top tier goddess of the game. Please, Lord, send her some buffs so she may be a top tier rider in the game. But I'm sure you could even clear with her. But if you want to use like Ushiwakamaru, she'll probably absolutely clean this up. And if you have literally anybody that can give her further support, she will absolutely clean house on this one, right? It is really not all that hard, especially because, you know, Anderson, as we know, does not have an offensive NP, and these are always like kind of the easier servants to deal with. In my opinion, at the very least, I'd rather deal with some servant that's going to give like attack and defense buffs to the entire party every time they fire their NP than like someone that's going to slam dunk me for 500 million damage with like Pierce Invul or something built into it, right? So this one should absolutely be pretty much free for most players. If you're new on the JP version of the game, you should just absolutely be able to mop this one up and go get yourself farming some pages. Looking at this one might be a little more tricky for some players because you're going to really want to use like a berserker or a caster ideally. And unless like you opened the game with like Nidochris from the tutorial summon, or maybe you got like Herc who could just easily mop this up, maybe you might struggle because the 3-star options for like casters specifically, if you want type advantage or Zerks, are not like overflowingly great, because there's like people like Mori who's like really good, but he's obviously limited, right? So it just kind of depends on what your box is looking like. But then again, I mean, even someone like Medea surely can clear this with like the greatest of ease. I mean, this is basically like a baby version of the Hassan challenge quest from like the Nero Fest, right? You literally just keep bringing your Medea, and as little damage as she'll do, she can probably one-shot all of these people, right? Like I imagine after a little bit of buffs from like the Merlin you got, or God forbid you also have like a Tamamo or a Castoria in your account to actually give her a bit of damage, she will absolutely mop up these people. And even if you don't have them, you can always bring someone like Mozart, right? Because Mozart gives a big arts buff to everybody, and while Medea is not exactly a crit machine, with the free wave that can give her a crit buff and the fact that Amadeus can just drop 50 stars for free, you definitely can put in a decent amount of work with her, and she can definitely mop this one up for you. So it really shouldn't be all that hard, but you know, for some people you might have to use Medea, but that's not all that bad. Who doesn't want to use Medea? Medea is super cute. And then finally we have this Oni quest, I suppose, where in particular you have a pretty big Saber Oni. I mean, these guys over here weren't all that big. I mean, these were only like 150k to like 100k a pop, and then these guys are all pretty tiny, right? Like nobody here is particularly huge. And then randomly you just have actually built different blue Oni over here, who is 505k HP. This one might be a little hard for some players to deal with. because you just don't have like the account to like take on like high damage, or not high damage, but high HP enemies like this. Someone like Robin Hood could be really good for this though, because of the fact that Robin Hood could put a lot of damage onto the enemy very, very quickly with like his ability to just put a poison on them and snipe them with his NP, and with support from like people like say Paracelsus, who can help him buff up his NP gain even more, give him a little bit of damage with that arts buff, and also support by taking out a lot of these berserkers with Paracelsus's own NP, because even though it doesn't hit that hard, these are in the range for him to kill, especially because he is super effective against them, because these guys are at least berserkers. It really shouldn't be that hard for you guys to like be able to clear this stuff with a lot of like free-to-play setups. Now, if you're more like an established account, you're just gonna absolutely dominate this. Like, I know, like, I'm just gonna bring my like Kiara and just obliterate these people. I'm bringing Kiara Part 2 to obliterate these people, and then I'll probably just bring Zenobia with like Castoria Merlin or like Castoria Tamamu and just turn this into a farming node itself, right? But do not forget to do these. They are very, very worth doing. And as you guys are starting to see, like, we're starting to get there with these advanced quest updates, where we're starting to get to the point where they're really handing out a lot of these. We're starting to double up on the actual CEs that we've been getting. And as you guys see, we're starting to get into a lot of like the silver material, right? Which means kind of rub my hands together. We're starting to get to the golds hopefully soon, or at least sooner than later, because then we can start getting like demon heart stuff as well. Because as someone who wasn't playing JP during the original like Da Vinci Lotto event, where they had like the absolute godly heart node, where even people nowadays are like, I'm stocked on hearts. I got like 800 hearts, dude. Like I never need to farm hearts ever again. Unfortunately, my JP's not like those people, right? Because I was not playing the game during that time. But make sure you go ahead and you get this done. Do not slack on it. You have a little bit of downtime over on the JP version of the game, because the event that we should be getting doesn't drop until like Wednesday morning for us over here in like the West. And then, I mean, you could just finish up Grailfront, but Grailfront doesn't like take up any like AP to do at all, right? It's basically free. So like that shouldn't really be anything, right? You should just be able to mop all this stuff up. I mean, even the Lost Belt 3 stuff is basically free, right? They're just a bunch of they're like glorified challenge quests with some like interludes that you're able to do to get some Saint Quartz, right? But again, like that shouldn't take more than like what, 2 AP bars for most players. So yeah, you can definitely go ahead and get this knocked out as well while you're also playing JP. But with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe for that daily FGO content, although I was not able to upload yesterday because I was feeling deathly ill. I felt like someone was going to obliterate me. I don't know what it was. I'm feeling better now, but that was not a very good day for your boy. I was absolutely dying. But I'm feeling better now. Also, just a little quick announcement that I am going to be hosting a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel tournament next Saturday, July the 2nd, I believe is the date. If you would like to join that, feel free to join my Discord, which is linked down in the description down below, and DM me there. Just basically send me your deck, tell me what you want to play. If you're going to like miss a round or two, like make sure you let me know. You should expect at least 5 rounds, with each round being around 45 minutes. We'll start at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to see as many of you guys come out there as possible. If you're unable to play but want to watch, I will be streaming that over on my Twitch. And we'll definitely be having a fun time over there. I'll be having a couple of drinks as, I commentate the entire tournament. It'll definitely be a fun time for everybody involved. Also, a shameless plug for the Twitch that I stream there every single weekday. And I don't know, it's been really, really fun streaming FGO with you guys. And, I'm looking forward to just another week of streaming. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace, late, guys.